Hi, everyone, and welcome to Divinely Empowered with Antonia. So today's guest is Ngara, who is one of the beta testers for the cellular regeneration. So she had the session with me 7 weeks and 2 days ago, to be precise, because she was feeling a bit tired and lackluster, and then got in contact and thought, oh, maybe there's something that you can do. So I did my magic, and I haven't rehearsed this. We don't know exactly what's happened, but she seems excited and looks very bright and perky. So let's just find out what's happened. So over to you, Ngara. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I was in a bad place. It was more than a little bit more than lackluster. It was just completely depleted. And that was the reason why I reached out to you, because I just wasn't able to shift it on my own, which usually I can, but not this time. And afterwards, once you had done your work, the cell regeneration, I felt like crap. Like for a whole week, I was even more flawed than what I was previously, pre-treatment. But what happened after that was like this rush of energy and clarity to complete the project that I had a deadline on, which was the 25th of June. And I was thinking, I'm literally going to be to the wire, the day before, hours before, in fact, flying off to Greece for this course teaching. But I had 2 days grace. I could actually go to the lake and sunbathe and go for a swim, which was the first time really this season. And I'm usually down there every day regularly, but it just hadn't been the case because of what I was going through. Since then,
so your productivity went up massively. So
like massive.
Yes. So what happened? So just to clarify as we go along. So you said that you felt like rubbish for a couple of days, for a week afterwards. So just in case, I'd explain what happened as I understand it. So what happens is when it goes to the area that needs the most help. So it may have been that you were doing deep healing. It sounds like you were doing deep healing. There were some things internally, potentially, which weren't working that well. And it just healing sometimes is exhausting. We know that when we've had colds and flus and things like that, we're absolutely exhausted. So I think what happened was it all focused to go and repair whatever was making you feel like absolute rubbish, where you really, you were very weak and not your normal. She's normally very vibrant, but you sort of just was really struggling to get through the days because you were your body was really taxed at that point. So I think what happened was, it just went to go and repair all of those different things in the body. And as soon as that was done, which took a week of you being exhausted, then suddenly you got the productivity back. And it's almost like you can, even though you lost a week, you probably gained an extra week in productivity. Is that right?
Totally. That's exactly how it felt. And then getting to the Greece, this was my first time teaching my course. So it just, and I was previously, before the cell regeneration, I was getting all worked up about it naturally because I'd never taught this work before. And it just went like silky smooth, like unbelievably silky smooth. And it was like everything was natural, everything was on point, and the clarity, like I think I told you about that as well, as how amazing the clarity was. Just everything crystal clear, instant, no fuzziness anywhere. And I've still got that. I'm like really ahead of the game on what it is that I'm needing to produce for myself at the moment. And that, I love that, because I'm a Pisces, a triple Pisces, so I can tend to float around in the water and chaos. So this has been really lovely. And what it's given me as well, like this real sense of groundedness, funnily enough. Like, even though I've got a lot of energy, I feel incredibly grounded. And a lot of people have been saying that to me. My gosh, what did you do out there? Because, you look amazing and you just feel very, very grounded and solid. And that's exactly what I noticed afterwards as well.
So what do you think it was that was causing you to feel poorly before? Was that menopausal, or do you have any clue what was going on? Why you were in a mess before we did the work?
Yeah, I think, like when we're on our journey, the ascension barriers that we always, that bit before we're crossing over to that next level of ascension, it's always the toughest. And, you know, like you say, I was healing from some old stuff. I've also got a lot of stuff going on with my kids. That's really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, like really heavy stuff. And so the combination of the old wounds with the stuff of my kids, and then just having to produce all this stuff, which was all new where I want to be going, but still battling all these scenarios. Yeah, it was just bringing me right down. I had to go deep. And so reaching out to you was the best move I made.
You think it was emotionally charged, most of it, rather than any physical ailments or physical illnesses or any other physical, or do you think do you think menopause got anything to do with that? I know that we've been working on a few people with that. Are you at that stage? I don't know where you are.
Yeah, I totally am. And I definitely think that was part of it, because around that time I was in that phase of the month. And then after it, because I ended up having that time of the month while I was in Greece, it was like, whoa, like night and day, completely different, smooth, more energy, definitely no kind of, you know, the grindy, gritty bit that you get in that time of the month, none of that. Like super chill. You wouldn't have even known that I was at that stage of the month.
So totally stabilized your hormones, and your perimenopausal before, which is sort of a bit sporadic with it. That's interesting. So one point that you brought up, which I just wanted to speak to, because I heard this the other day, which I thought was really interesting, was, you know, you were saying that you're doing the spiritual evolution and then you're making moves to go forward. But I heard the other day that before you're about to make a big breakthrough, you do get pulled back, because it's like a springboard. So you need to be pulled back to then spring
catapult
forward. It's a catapult, but the catapult has to go back. Otherwise, you can't be sprung forward. Otherwise, there's no spring mechanism to push you forward into the next thing, which so makes sense to me, because, you know, it is before a big breakthrough. There's often trials and tribulations, shall we say. So yeah, to pull you back to then spring load you forward. I really like that, which I heard the other day, and I thought, ooh, that's why things are going a bit awry.
Yeah, totally. And I can relate to that on every level, because right when it's the toughest, you know, and it's exactly that, you get pulled back into the old crap, and then you take this quantum leap again, and it's such a beautiful process, but it's not an easy one to cross over the barriers. So
I think it makes it easy when you know you're being pulled back in the catapult, though. You're like, all right, I'm just doing this so I can get spring loaded. If you know that, then I think it takes some of the suffering away.
yeah, absolutely, because I didn't feel emotional as in sad none of that was coming up. It was just the physical density in the body that just limits you to doing anything. Like you've got all of this in your head, you're ready to go and that, but the body's just going, nah, not today, lovey, not today.
Yeah. And now that's gone. Now
that's like well gone. Yeah, well gone. I'm only sleeping like 6 hours today, and my productivity has gone up massively.
Less sleep, more hours in the day.
Yeah.
It's almost like you add a couple of extra days to the week, amazingly, because you don't need as much sleep, which means you've got more downtime, means you've got more chill time, because you can actually get everything a week's worth of work done in 3 days, because you can just literally sit at your desk and do anything you want to do. And one thing that I really noticed is switching tasks. I found switching tasks quite difficult. Like if I'm doing a healing on someone, then I'm doing laundry, and then I'm doing cooking, and then I'm doing writing, and then I found it quite difficult to transition between tasks, which I think is something which is about getting older. And now I can literally do anything and then just get on with everything, rather than then sitting at my desk going, oh God, I don't want to do it, and just being annoyed by things, and then just sort of dragging my heels and things that need doing. Is that the same for you?
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Yeah, it's godsend. It's really, I'm loving every minute.
It really is. Yeah, it's a huge change. Have you noticed anything else? So basically your energy levels are up and your funk is over. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely have to say my Achilles heel, cellulite.
Your cellulite. Yes, my cellulite seems to be vanishing. Is your cellulite vanishing too?
It's improved quite a lot.
Okay.
I've got to say that I do use this little puppy here, Sonic Slider, and I have been using it regularly. But look, between
Wait, were you using it before as well? How long have you been using the Sonic Slider for?
Probably about 6 weeks religiously.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so I just continue. So I use it about 15 minutes a day.
Okay.
But I mean, my lines on my face, they used to be pretty severe, like, especially in the sunlight, they were heavy. And even though I've still got them, I mean, you probably can't see because of the lighting, but even though I've got some, they're nowhere near as entrenched and deep as what they used to be. And that's the same as my cellulite, like it's there, but it's not as, it's not typical orange peel, it's just smoothing out. And so this is amazing for me, because that's always been the thing that in the past anyway that used to hold me back about even wearing a skirt, and now I just don't care.
So, okay, so are you looking, if we could compare it in age, so how old are you initially, if that's okay to ask that question?
Yeah, sure. 48.
48 years old. And so would you say that your face is looking like it did 5 years ago, more 10 years ago? Your legs, is there any way that you can judge that?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I reckon I've probably I'm looking more like I was at 45.
So only 3 years. You think 3 years?
Yeah, definitely 3 years.
I thought it'd be more than that. I think you look younger than I've known you.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Well, then that's great.
And your cellulite, do you think 3 years ago your legs were as they are now, or do you think it was younger still?
For my legs, probably, 3 years ago as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, we'll see. I think you're being modest, but we'll keep watching this, which is very interesting. So all the people who are in the cellular regeneration groups are also taking pictures. So everything will be available on my website so people can see the before and the after as well, because I think it's really important to be able to see that. So we're going to have a page, which is the case studies, the before and the after, and then just a few lines with each person just saying what their effects have been. And we'll have to keep updating that because everything keeps changing, which is pretty wild. And we don't know the potential of this, like it just seems to keep rolling.
Yeah.
And my face is looking significantly younger, which is really cool. Like that down line is completely gone. I can't even muster it. Like, and it's just really interesting with that. I've noticed as well, my whiskers seem to be going away. Have you noticed that as well? Like I've got this.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. And my nails haven't been this long and strong for years.
Mine as well, actually. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Really, like I usually have to cut my nails like at least once a week because the one's ripped and cracked and then the other ones start falling into the same space. But this has been, I've had these long like this for about 6 weeks. Yeah, the same nails. So that's wild for me. So definitely lots of lovely improvements going on in the body. What did happen though after Greece is my body started shedding skin like a snake. It was the wildest thing. But what's come after it, like my skin's like a baby's bum. It's just like so silky. Even my kids say to me, "Oh my God, Mama, your skin's so nice." Yeah, and I don't peel. So it was funny to see me like shedding like ridiculous. It was everywhere.
I haven't had that. That's a new one on me. How's your hair? So you're amongst one of your talents. You have many different talents. You're also a trained hairdresser and has worked in hair for a long time. So have you noticed any improvements in your hair? Or has that been pretty much the same?
No, my hair is like a weed anyway, so it grows ferociously, but the quality of the curl is really consistent, much more consistent, which is really nice. Yeah,
and that's to do with it often being in good condition, isn't it? The curl's better condition.
Yeah, and usually summer, that's my time where it's not so good, so to have really nice curls still through summer is really add bonus as well. I mean, I literally just wash it and leave it, but that's what I love. Wash and wear.
Wash and wear. So some people have mentioned that their joy has increased. Have you noticed anything around that sort of stuff as well? They're just like their baseline is happier than it was before. Is that something you've had too?
Well, you know me, I'm a pretty bloody joyful person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy most of the
Anyway.
time. So, you know, that wouldn't be something that I would notice probably too much. What I probably could say to that is I'm quite peaceful and calm, you know, I would say a good 90% of the time. But I guess that's even increased. So yeah, I can handle difficult situation like a Buddha basically. And even my son said, Mama, you're just so chilled. You're so chilled. Like we've been heavy topics in this household. So just being able to come from that really loving, heart-filled, compassionate, understanding space is just a blessing to move through that in peace. Yeah.
And just having this, you know, unfortunately, one thing that happens as we age and just if we're tired, everything is more overwhelming. When you're tired and you've had rubbish sleep the night before, you tend to have a bit of a rubbish day because you just don't have the bandwidth or brain space or the ability to just take on normal tasks because you're either tired or maybe you're overwhelmed and maybe you've had a load of horrible situations happen either recently or in your past, and it sort of compresses you and it stops you being able to be as fluid and as free and as open and as making life easier. So I think as we get older, we just get more tired. And that means that things are just harder to do. Life becomes harder the tighter you are. And it seems like you're sort of gone back to a different level of energy.
Yeah, it's amazing. And definitely what I wanted to share with you as well is I have a very religious practice, getting up early in the morning, doing my practice. But I have to say, pre-Greece, it was really off and on this year, really tough to stay on for 5-6 days a week. I'm usually 5-6 days a week, but it was like sporadic. You know, it was definitely 3 days because I teach Kunda dance 3 days a week, but it was sporadic for myself. And I need that time for my practice in the morning at 5:30. And now it's just religious. It's gone back to how I was a year or 2 years, you know, like all up until this point over the last year. It's been up and down. So, and what that allowed me to do also since Greece, well, actually in Greece, was I could go back and do a detox again. So I just went on a little fast. And usually when I've tried to do them cellular regeneration, I struggle with the willpower. Like I can do a day and a half, no problem. But then after that, it's just too tough. It's too crunchy. And the shadow self just comes right and go, no, you need that cream cake. You need that whatever crisps. And I just jump in, you know, like, don't worry about the day and a half I've done, you know, get in there and munch down. So this has been amazing. I've just been able to do 3 days and then do the slow process of getting back into food again. No worries. Absolutely. I haven't even thought about it. In fact, you know, not even once did I go, oh my God, I need some.
There's more grace in everything that we do. I think that's what it is.
That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're bouncing out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning without any troubles. And you were possibly, it sounds like you were struggling to get up to go and get on with your day in general. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say definitely 70% of the time for sure.
Yeah, well, that's pretty impressive. And so do you think you've got the energy levels that you had 3 years ago, or is that around the right time? Or do you, what age did you have these energy levels at?
Yeah, it's definitely between sort of 40 and 45. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so because since 45, like I've been on my spiritual journey for 13 years intensely, but you know, the first years are always clearing all the trauma. The last 3 years have been different because they have been, that ascension process has took me into the different dimensions. So that's a whole nother kettle of fish. And so my energy levels really fluctuate with that ascension. And yeah, it's just a godsend to be back to where I was, because
So,
those
yeah.
last 3 years have been intense processing, bringing the gifts out that are within me, you know, but you have to do that clearing first before you can gain them, right? You know all about that.
Yeah, so I mean, you've got, okay, so being 48, that's between sort of, you're feeling like you did somewhere between 5 and 8 years ago, basically, or 3 and 8 years ago, say 3 and 8 years ago. So yeah, so that makes a bit of a difference as well. You know,
yeah, massively.
Because, you know, that's taking, I don't know, a tenth off your life sort of thing, you know, around that sort of, you know, is, and also we're, you know, you're relatively new in this. I think it's going to keep going. We're seven weeks in. So I just think that's going to keep raising up, which is exciting.
Yeah.
What was your health like? Do you have any other health concerns or anything before we started the cellular regeneration, or was it just literally emotional overload, which was flattening you?
Yeah, it was just that. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't affect me emotionally, it affects me physically. It's the old heavy stuff. Yeah.
So this is a good thing to note as well, because we've got obviously we've got a cellular regeneration Telegram group, and people are having different reactions at different speeds. And I think it's really important to have to note of what's going on there. If people are in poor health initially, it goes to that place first. So it will go and repair your liver or your heart or your lungs or whatever it is which is not working optimally. Once that's done, you get into the flashy stuff, and what Ngara is talking about is really the flashy stuff, like having and it is the flashy stuff, which is the stuff that I've had as well, which is that's like energy levels through the roof. Most people are getting that, but the skin stuff, the wrinkles going, the cellulite going, all of that sort of stuff is really less important than your internal organs. So it's the flashy stuff, it's the more superficial stuff, it's the stuff we all definitely want. I don't think anyone's going to reject that sort of stuff in the world. I mean, that's incredible, looking like you did years ago, fantastic. But it is the secondary level of the work. It's the primary level, and the more important thing is to really fix any organs or illnesses that people may have. So that takes precedence. And then if you were in good health, which is why I've just checked with Ngara, she was in good health apart from this emotional overwhelm. So once that was out of the way, because she's now got more bandwidth and more space, then she gets all the flashy stuff like her cellulite vanishing and her, you know, all of these all these other little things happening, like, and it's interesting, the whiskers stuff, because that's just disappearing, like not having whiskers.
Yeah, like totally, no jokes. I went in the mirror today and I thought, oh, I probably need to do that, right? No, and I'm like, hang on a minute, that was weeks ago when I did that.
Yeah,
I totally did that just this morning. I thought that was completely odd, because that's not my normal. I would usually have to do once a week.
Yeah, that's disappearing. So
wow.
It's, you know, but that's a hormone thing. It's largely a hormone thing, I think, whiskers, and it's an aging thing, which is probably interrelated. But, you know, in your 30s, you don't get very many of them. In your 40s, I think maybe late 30s, they start appearing, depending on the person, absolutely. But certainly in your 40s, I think every lady in their 40s, or most of them at least, have the odd whisker. So to for that to start disappearing, and someone noted that they were getting thinner, or they're less coarse.
Yeah.
So they're getting more, just sort of thinner hairs.
Finer.
There you go, that's what I'm looking for, thank you. They're becoming finer hairs, and they're becoming less regular as well, so that's really nice. So
I'm looking forward to my lips juicing up a bit again.
My lips juiced up. My lips have definitely juiced up. And it's really weird, because occasionally I can feel it happening, and it just suddenly feels like I've been like blown up, like they put some like inflatable little injection into my lips or something. And I'm like, and I'm feeling myself walking around, I almost feel like a blow up doll, which is hilarious. It's like, what's going on here? And it's funny because I did that with some of my practitioners when we were in London doing the trade show, and I was like, have my lips changed since yesterday? Are they like sticking out more? And everyone agreed that they were since the day before, which is just hilarious and strange and interesting. And it is just really the fountain of youth. I think that's, you know, and that's the best way to describe this stuff, is really youth just returning, which is just who doesn't want that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Magical work you're doing, darling. Well, I remember your lips when I met you live. So, they're totally different.
Can
Yeah.
you see the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Absolutely. And I noticed mine have decreased in the last 5 years. They've got
Yeah.
smaller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
So
do. As we age, they get thinner, don't they? Yeah.
they do. They totally do. And it's like, oh, who's that? They're not my lips. Where's my lips gone?
Have you noticed anything else with your neck or any other of the, or maybe there's another thing which people have noticed is their elasticity in their skin. So their skin is just like, less, not flabby. Well, maybe, but
Yeah, yeah, no,
like
totally. Totally. Yeah. Because I used to
have increased.
Yeah, totally. The tone has increased. And I used to carry a bit of cellulite on the backs of my arms. That's actually pretty much gone.
That's nice. And have you noticed another thing people are talking about, their DOMS, their delayed onset muscle soreness after training? They're no longer sore after training. Have you noticed that one? Or
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't get any of that anymore. So that's why I'm able to train as well, more intensely and every day of the week again. Well, 5 days a week, 6 days a week again. Yeah. Because before all of that, like in the last 6 months, definitely the last year, every time and I've been teaching Kunda dance for 18 months now, even when I did that, some days I was like, oh, just like wiped afterwards, and pain. Yeah. And the recovery time was long.
Yeah, and now it's just not a thing.
It's not even, I don't even think about it. Everybody goes, do you not get pain? No pain anymore. No pain, no gain. Go and see Antonia.
Go and see Antonia. Cool. Anything else to note from what's happened to you? I mean, that's enough, but just
I just think anybody who's thinking about it and they want to invest in themselves, and especially if there are some internal struggles with the body, that you've got nothing to lose. You just go all in and make the investment, because the rewards are so great. Like just to have health and energy, that's even enough. So like you say, like all the glow up on the outside, that's just a major bonus. I just highly recommend anyone who's thinking about it to just go for it.
Yeah, so we're still, just for everyone's awareness, we are filming this, what are we, end of July, 2023, in case people are watching this much later. And I am putting my price up. My practitioners are going to be starting doing it as soon as the website is ready. We are having I'm just having a huge overhaul, changing how everything looks on the website and the wording, updating everything. So that is in process. It will be maybe next week, maybe the week after. All these things take longer than anticipated. So if you do want me to do it, I highly suggest you do it now. Otherwise, my price is going up from 1,000 to 3,000. As soon as the website's ready, it's going up. There isn't any information on cellular regeneration on the website because it's being updated. So if you do want to work with me, you need to book in for a 50-minute bespoke healing session. The link is going to be below, so you'll be able to find that. And after the website's done, whenever that is done, then my practitioners will be available, but they'll be 1,000, I'll be 3,000. So you'll still be able to have it at that price. But when you get me to do it, I tend to do a hell of a lot extra. We also work on different illnesses that people have. So the process involves working on the cellular regeneration, but then we also get up my trusty textbook that tells you the emotional reason behind different illnesses. And I work on different illnesses in the session. I think we did 4 different illnesses in one session yesterday, which is insane. But I'm a juggernaut. I just get stuff done super, super fast. And you get the cellular regeneration, and I work on different illnesses that people have. So it's like a double bubble. So yeah, you've got like a week. If you're watching this when it's being released, you've got around a week to do this. You can also pay over 3 months. I know it's a big investment. And you can pay over 3 months. You just click the pay later button on the website, and then it's £333 each month for the next 3. So if you want to do that, obviously, if you want more data, you and you know, look through all the videos. We've got Lisa's one's very interesting. The one that we did with Mel with osteoporosis, osteoarthritis has gone in 6 days, easy peasy, and her energy levels are through the roof. That's pretty cool. That was Mel. Lise came off her, didn't tell her to. Lise is a little force of nature, bless her cotton socks. And she, I told her what had happened to her cellular voltage, and it increased significantly. And she went off and decided to come off her HRT without any say so from me. And she didn't need it anymore. She realized that that was no longer needed in her system. And she ran out of it earlier in the year. And she really did need it, and she slumped and she was in a pickle then. But this time she just chose to come off it immediately after the session that day, and has had no problems with that, and her energy levels are through the roof. And Karen's menopause is completely reversed. She was in peri-menopause, it was irregular, and she was completely just depleted energetically. And as soon as we did that, her cycles come back, and she's had it on the 28 days for the next 4 months. This is nothing short of miraculous. So if you want in, book it in. And we don't know where this is going, but it keeps going. I don't know if there's going to be a cap to it, that we can only get to a certain level. At the moment, that hasn't transpired. For the moment, it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. It may be that it keeps going indefinitely. I know I'm looking like I did at least 10 years ago. I saw a friend of mine for dinner a few weeks ago, and he said, I look younger than I did 10 years ago when you last saw me. He lives in America. I don't see him very much. That's what he said. You look younger than you did when I last saw you, which was 10 years ago. So, you know, this is big. We are the med beds. This is the future of healing. So if you want in, now is the time before it all goes up in price. And as soon as this gets known, it's going to increase in price again, because this, I think, is the most valuable thing there is. Youth is the most valuable thing there is.
Yeah.
So get booked in, everybody.
Yeah,
Any final words
totally.
of wisdom from you, Nara?
I actually just remembered as
Oh,
well,
goodness.
as my sunspots have gone down in color.
Oh,
Yeah, so that I had quite a big dark one on my cheek, and it's just a light brown now. So I'm really keeping tabs on that.
yeah.
And I'll keep a photo diary of it as well.
Yeah, I do think I think at a minimum, most people should reduce their age by around 10 years from this, at least. I think I'm sure that I'm sure I have.
Yeah,
So,
you totally have. You totally have. I mean, your photo updates are amazing. So,
yeah.
but I feel I've definitely cut off some years as well. I can see that, and I definitely feel it as well. So that's the best part as well, I think, for me, because I need the energy to do the work that I'm doing.
Everyone needs it. Everyone needs the energy. Otherwise, your life gets smaller, because you can't do as many things. And that's one of the problems that we have as we get older, our world just compresses on us.
Condenses. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, I mean, this just winding back the clock 5-10 years is just, I mean, that's what we're doing. Wind back the clock. It's magic.
It's total magic.
It's total magic. And this is something that I teach as well. As I said, my practitioners will be able to do it. They'll be able to do it very soon, and they'll be going to be on the website very soon. And then you can learn it. It's on my level 12. So you have to take all the levels to get to level 12 to be able to do it, because we have to upgrade and change and completely evolve your energy system before then you're able to do it for other people. So there's a lot to it. But this is the future of healings. Like, I don't know if the physical med beds exist. And if they do their lower level magic, I wanted to speak on this as well, because I think this is really interesting. There's 2 types of healing and magic: lower level magic and higher level magic. Lower level magic is what witchery is. And it's what's been going on, what's been used in healing forever. You're using an intermediary to help you do the work. You're using a potion, a spell, some cards, an angel, a coven, some sort of style, steps to do it, pills, whatever it might be. But there's something that you're working through, some intermediary, some vessel that you're using to help you achieve your goals, which witches do that. So I say wizard. And the reason I say wizard is because I'm doing something which is called higher level magic, lower level magic, and higher level magic. This is an ancient mystery school's term. So higher level magic is awakening you to your true self, your God nature, to be able to do things just with yourself. I don't need any tools. I don't need any physicalities. I don't need a wand or a staff or anything like that. I've awoken myself to my true nature, and an awakening, it's an awakening process, an enlightening process. And now I can do the work, and it works first time, every time. It always works. It always works. It, like the stuff with the deleting traumas, you learn how to do that in level 1, and it's never not worked. As long as people can find the emotions in themselves and open the door and feel into the traumas. If you can feel it, I can heal it. That's from level 1. So it's consistent, which a lot of things are not consistent. Some illnesses don't necessarily, well, that you like solid illnesses, which are really compressed, they are a bit hit and miss. Let's be truthful about things. The liquid-based ones like pain and cyst and things like that are consistent, but learning this stuff works every time. It depends on the person, but we get incredibly good results for things, and everyone in the cellular regeneration is having some sort of results and improvements. Even my mum, my mum's a bit of a tough cookie, bless her cotton socks. She's not really into healing. She likes Western medicine, and if she takes a lot of pills, if you shook her, she'd rattle. She loves the Western medicine pills and isn't really into this sort of stuff. And it's really interesting to see her improvements, because I worked on her in March, and she's 75 years old. And I worked on her in March, and she's got so much more energy, and she's getting to jobs that she has been avoiding. She's got too much stuff in her house, and a lot of it's very expensive art and beautiful things, and she needs to sell some of it at auction, but it's almost insurmountable because there's so much to do, and it's just piling up, and it's just too much. So now she's got the energy to then go to auctions and do the research and actually get on with things. She's back in the gym, she's moving, she's got energy and life force to be able to get well and just live her life. So even someone in their 70s is a bit of a slow burner for her, and she doesn't always like admitting the work that I've done has done very much, but she's noticing that she's got more energy, and she's then able to get to the jobs which are just swept under the rug, and that is invaluable in and of itself.
Yeah, totally. Awesome work, Antonia. Thank you so much.
You're super welcome.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see it. And it's really good to have lots of different people and what their experiences are, because, you know, people have had different things happen to them. Have you noticed your cycle has changed? You said you was perimenopausal. Has anything, have you noticed it's more regular, or the consistency? Is there anything that you can speak to on that?
Yeah, it is. It's really consistent. It's actually very consistent. Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Write some more notes. But before it was perimenopausal, so it was a bit sporadic. It was, you know.
Yeah, I all over the show.
All over the show. And now for the last little bit, it's only been 7 weeks, so it's not that. But
but it was the same time.
Yeah. So
that's nice.
So you're back on your cycle. So it's possible as well that, I mean, I'm not sure, you were in perimenopause. Were you skipping any cycles at all, or was it just still very much?
No. It was just sometimes, you know, it was 2 or 3 weeks apart from the last one, and then there might be a 5 or 6 week, you know, like that kind of stuff. So it was just a bit random. Irregular.
Now it's gone back to your regular 28 days or whatever is right for you. Yeah. It's gone back to your proper, your normal timing of the cycles. Yeah. That's because Karen was really interesting, because she was very irregular, and she was always timing and counting her 28 days. She knew exactly where she was in her cycle, and then she missed one, which is still perimenopause, because you have to miss it for an entire year to actually be classified as menopause. But as soon as we did it, then the next 4 cycles that she's had have been completely on the 28 days, and just like they were before she'd got into perimenopause. So
yeah, I mean, anything that can be a relief for that alone is already a big one as well, because getting at that time of the month was very depleting for me on my energy levels for the last few years, in fact. And like I say, I've had one while I was away in Greece, nothing. It's just like
nothing. Like it was years ago.
Yeah, easy. Didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah. It's just regaining youth. And I do think menopause is something that women really suffer from. It's a really crappy thing in many ways. And obviously there are ways around it and your HRT and everything else. But if you can just turn back the clock, you just kind of just don't even need any of that stuff, which is really exciting.
Yeah, exactly, which is what I'm wanting to do, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with people who are in full-on menopause. I don't know. I haven't had any reports for people who've been in menopause to say that their cycle has returned. I don't know if that will be a thing or if that's possible. I haven't got a clue, but there are a couple of people who are in peri certainly have gone back to where they were pre-peri, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting times.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is the ultimate biohack.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
hands down.
I love biohacking, and I really do. And I need to, I'm going to get into that industry because I think that that's where I'm just going to be most appreciated, because they're going to really get it and love it, because you know, they're always looking for the next big thing. So my next avenue is biohacking, and I'm excited to go into that world.
Wow, that's so cool, Antonia. Wow.
Yeah.
So lots of great things happening for you, darling. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's a wild world, and I've just been catapulted forward after a bit of kerfuffle, shall we say?
Yeah, as we always do. You get into that next level.
Wonderful. Okay, Ngara, thank you so much for your time and for speaking to us today, and I appreciate you. If you haven't please hit the subscribe button, and also please subscribe to my newsletter from divineempowerment.com to make sure that you get all of the updates and you are told about them. We don't know how long channels are going to last, just in case there's something dodgy there, but I'm also available on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, the podcast. We've got podcasts as well, Divinely Empowered with Antonia, but please do get involved and get on the mailing list today. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Antonia. Take care. Bye.